Right to former Assistant U.S. Attorney Andrew McCarthy. It's great to have you back on, sir. Okay, when you first heard about the charges, what was your reaction? Because we're hearing the Records Act. It's a civil law, not criminal. So why is Trump being criminally charged here?
Well, because it's not a Records Act violation. What happened, Liz, when they did the search warrant, they did try to criminalize the Presidential Records Act by attaching criminal penalties to his retention of documents that weren't classified or weren't part of the national defense. In the indictment, they keep it limited to national defense information. That's not the Presidential Records Act. That comes under the Espionage Act, and it's not a situation like in the search warrant where they were trying to criminalize something that Congress hadn't criminalized. So,
Andrew, what do you make of all the we've got a lot of commentary coming in from House and Senate Republicans that there's bias, conflicts of interest, that there's a double standard here, basically essentially saying the Hillary Clinton case, Joe Biden had documents dating back to when he was in the Senate, in his house, in his beach house, in the garage. Obama's had records violations alleged against him, and Republicans are saying this is going to divide the nation.
Well, it's certainly going to divide the nation, but that's because we have a long record that now goes on for years. I think Hillary Clinton is the most notorious case of it, where you have a two-tiered justice system, and it's obvious that the quality of justice that people get is dependent on their partisan affiliation or whether they are connected to people in the ruling class or not. So to the extent that people are on fire about that, they have every right to be. I think the Hillary Clinton precedent, if we applied it as the law, what it would mean is nobody ever again would ever be prosecuted for classified information offenses. I don't think we can have that, but at the same time, to the extent it helps Trump argue that he's been selectively prosecuted, that's a good political argument to make. The problem he has is that once you are charged, it's not really a very good legal argument in a jury trial, because the jury's going to be told it doesn't matter what happened to somebody else, it's this case.
Well, they raid Mar-a-Lago, they didn't raid Chappaqua or Delaware or UPenn or the garage or the beach house. Let's listen to Special Counsel Jack Smith on the indictment. You're also going to hear legal expert Jonathan Turley. Watch this.
Violations of those laws put our country at risk. Adherence to the rule of law is a bedrock principle of the Department of Justice, and our nation's commitment to the rule of law sets an example for the world. We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone. It's very important for me to note that the defendants in this case must be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. To that end, my office will seek a speedy trial in this matter.
No, it is an extremely damning indictment. There are indictments that are sometimes called narrative or speaking indictments. These are indictments that are really meant to make a point as to the depth of the evidence.
Okay, Trump's innocent until proven guilty, Andrew, right? I mean, but the DOJ was leaking on this. When you we read through the indictment, it pretty much matches a lot what has been leaked to the media. So they're damning and condemning Trump in the court of public opinion. Certainly you see that on MSNBC, and you've seen it on CNN with these leaks.
Well, the fact that there have been leaks doesn't mean that all the leaks are coming from law enforcement. My frustration when I was a prosecutor, Liz, was that once defense lawyers are involved, which happens when you have a lot of witnesses who are going into the grand jury, you can't tell where the leaks are coming from. I don't doubt that some of them are coming from the government because they do leak, but,
Yeah. Let's listen. Let's get your reaction to Republicans calling all of this a witch hunt. Watch this.
They can't stop because it's election interference at the highest level. There's never been anything like what's happened. I'm an innocent man. I'm an innocent person. Our country is going to hell, and they come after Donald Trump, weaponizing the Justice Department, weaponizing the FBI. We can't let this continue to go on because it's ripping our country to shreds. We have such big problems, and this shouldn't be one of them. It's a hoax.
The one thing that makes America the city on the hill is confidence in our justice system. And today, what we see is a justice system where the scales are weighted.
This is the executive branch tonight trying to take out their #1 opponent for the presidency of the United States in 2024. They have one standard for Donald Trump and another standard for everybody else. And if you look at the documents that President Biden had in his possession in his garage, Hillary Clinton having the server in her bathroom at her home with classified information on private email servers.
Joe Biden and his cronies are trying to take out their chief political opponent. This has never happened before in American history, Laura. We are in dangerous, dangerous waters, and it is because of Joe Biden.
Okay, so when we look at this, we know that Sandy Berger, right, and General David Petraeus, they got off with a slap on the wrist for violating, the Records Act with classified information. House Judiciary Chair, where does this go? Jim Jordan fired off a letter to A.G. Garland saying there's a serious double standard here and a miscarriage of justice, noting that a Biden Justice Department lawyer inappropriately sought to pressure a Trump lawyer with the prospect of a judgeship on this. Does that go anywhere?
Depends on what his evidence is. I haven't, I've heard that allegation. I haven't seen what the evidence is. I think, Liz, the problem with the double standard argument, which I agree with, is, to my mind, the big problem with those cases that you reeled off, if it had been up to me, Petraeus would have been prosecuted for a felony. Hillary Clinton should have had the book thrown at her. These people should have been prosecuted. Sandy Berger should have been prosecuted. So the problem here is not that, somebody who committed crimes is being prosecuted. The problem is that all these people who also committed crimes didn't get prosecuted.
Got it. Andrew McCarthy, always terrific to have you on. Thank you so much, sir.